All right, good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast here on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com, the 1010XL app. I'm at the 1010XL headquarters in their podcast room, still to be built out, but here we are, and we love being here. Brought to our good friends at Team Tommy Mac, a group of businesses always there for you when you need them, and I'll tell you more about them. You can always check them out at TommyMac.net. Of course, it's Friday, fresh off Jaguars today with my pals Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, who is not fat, and R to the J, Saunders, our producer, and had a great show looking at the tail of the tape, who's going to win, what the picks are, whatnot. We'll get into Super Bowl 60. I tell you, this is the most, and our Jags aren't even in it. Can you imagine if they were in it all week? See how far back I go to. There we go. So back in on Monday, Sunday night, 1, 2, kind of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7 pages of notes for this matchup. There's a lot of good stuff in this game coming up. We'll get into that. I want to first congratulate Liam Coen, finishing second in the Coach of the Year honors at the NFL Honors yesterday out in San Francisco. Fantastic. He deserves it. I get why Vrabel gets it too. So, I mean, you could probably make an argument, but at the same time, what he's done for that team in just a year's time too is pretty remarkable. So good for them, but good for us as well. Getting on the map, I mean, just huge, just absolutely huge for this organization, for our franchise. And just, being recognized with that national exposure. It's absolutely fantastic. Hey, we know what we have here in Jayville. We don't need anybody from the national media to tell us anything, but it's good to see that our head coach and our starting quarterback in these talks, in these award shows. Of course, Christian McCaffrey won the comeback player of the year, and Matthew Stafford winning the MVP. I don't know about McCaffrey. I know he had a lot of injuries. He had a great year. I would have gone Hutchinson just because of that traumatic injury, that he could even make it back, let alone have 14 and a half sacks and all the disruptions. He was pretty incredible. But whatever, congrats to everybody. And, of course, congrats to our guys, Liam Coen and Trevor Lawrence. Hall of Fame finalists have been named for 2026. Drew Brees, Luke Kuechly, Larry Fitzgerald, Adam Vinatieri, and Roger Craig, the senior inductee, I guess you would call it. And I was saying at the end of the show of Jaguars today, and look, I love Roger Craig. He was phenomenal. He was. And does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, he probably does. But you'd think it would have been a long time ago. The senior committee is interesting to me. Coaches, I think, might be a little bit different, but players, just interesting. And again, I feel weird because I never was a Hall of Famer, nowhere close to it. But I don't know, if you don't make it in 20 years, then you make it. I don't know. It just seems odd. But congrats to Roger and his family. That's a fantastic honor. Drew Brees, great. Kuechly, one of the best of all time. Larry Fitzgerald. I laugh. Adam Vinatieri, of course, fantastic. And Roger was great. I laugh at Larry Fitzgerald. I'll never forget being in Radio Row. And it was Tebow's it wasn't the draft. It was the Super Bowl after the Gators. And I think they won the title, and Tim was coming out and everybody, or maybe he was already a rookie. I can't remember. But anyway, Tim came in with 10, 15 deep, came through Radio Row. And I'm standing there watching it because, you always, when you're in this big room of radio shows and TV shows, they got all the studio setups and, all these people that you see on TV and hear from radio. And if you go there long enough, you get to meet them and get to know them and whatnot. And, you just kind of, when you see a big crowd come through, or a big celebrity come through, everybody kind of oh, there's always it's like a predator in the bushes, like when they rattle the bushes. You're like, holy cow, what is that? It's almost like that feeling. Anyway, here comes Tebow and his entourage, if you call it, wasn't that bad. And Larry Fitzgerald is standing 5 feet from me, and nobody's paying attention to Larry Fitzgerald at all. Nobody's even looking at him. Nobody's talking to him. And he's just looking at Tebow too. And I went up to him and I said, man, who would have thought of the day that Tim Tebow would get all the attention and Larry Fitzgerald wouldn't, but he got plenty. There's no doubt. But what a great wide receiver, Larry Fitzgerald. You knew he was going to be great coming out of Pittsburgh. and just a fantastic career. Of course, Luke Kuechly, former Boston College linebacker who was all-world, man, just all-world. Arguably the best ever. You could make an argument for Luke Kuechly to be the best ever middle linebacker in the National Football League of all time. And you can line up the greats, and they're all deserving. Ray Lewis, all of them, they are. But I think when it's all said and done, Luke Kuechly could do it all and did it all and was absolutely fantastic. But congrats to all of them. Of course, Super Bowl 60 fast upon us. And, man, I tell you what, I think it's going to be a close game. I know a lot of people think it's a blowout. They think – and I think it's because they keep hearing the weakness in the Patriots' schedule. But I finally was like, I'm going to go through and just look at both teams, how they won, who they lost to, how it went down. And I'm telling you, when I got done with it – let me find that page. When I got done with it, I was like, it wasn't that – some of it was weak, but they handled them. And that's, to me – what's really the case. Not look, if you're squeaking by, like we squeak by the Raiders, week in and week out, and that's how you're winning. Yeah, I would question the strength of your team and your schedule, but not when you're kicking teams' ass. I mean, you're just better than them. You kick their ass. We saw it here. We did it to Tennessee. We did it to a lot. We did it to the Chargers at home and crushed the shit out of them. The New York Jets. So did New England. But you know what I'm saying. So you go through it and you're like, okay, let's go through it. And we will. So we'll start with the Pats. Both teams 14-3. 14-3. So hard to win 14 games. We all know it. Hard to win 13. But 14-3. Let's start with the Pats. So they start off 1-2 with losses to the Raiders in week 1, where at the time you're like, wow, maybe the Raiders are going to be good. You didn't know they would be terrible. And then in week 3, they had Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh fought to the end. They didn't make it in, obviously, but they did make it in, but were exited quick. But that was in their first 3 weeks. Then they rip off 10 wins in a row. Now let me throw them at you. They crushed Carolina. I don't have just so we can know the premise. When I say crush, it's by 2 touchdowns and more. When I say beat them up, that means they handled them, and it might be a 5, 6, 7 point game, or it's a close game. Okay, we understand. Get that? That's at least from my dialogue. That's what I'm saying. So they crushed Carolina. They beat Buffalo. They beat New Orleans on the road, and it wasn't it wasn't close, but it wasn't a big spread, like 5 points. And on the road's on the road. You know what I mean? I mean, we barely beat Arizona. We barely beat the Raiders, but they're still W's, and we wouldn't think that those are that we'd look at our schedule that way. Nonetheless. They crushed Tennessee. They crushed Cleveland. They beat Atlanta by 1 point. They beat Tampa Bay. They beat up the Jets. They beat Cincinnati on an away trip. They crushed the Giants. That's their 10th win in a row. Then they lose to Buffalo by 4. That was a big win for Buffalo. Then they beat Baltimore, crushed the Jets, crushed Miami. That's the New England schedule and their ones and their losses. Okay. To me, that's not terrible. Like what's so terrible? How many, let's see, you got Carolina. You've got Buffalo, of course. Only 2 playoff teams, Tommy Mac, Carolina, Buffalo, I guess. Tampa Bay was kind of near it, but not really. And then, of course, we know the playoffs. So let's go through Seattle. It's a little bit stronger, there's no doubt. But my point about this is we're making too much out of this strength of schedule. It's how you beat these teams is how I look at it. Now, not necessarily by the point spread all the time, right? I think it's hard to go out on the road and win. So when I make mention of the Raiders coming back and we winning by 1, which we should have crushed them, but we didn't, I'll still take it. So I don't care. I'm not beating up that win, that victory, but it's a win, and we'll take it. And some of these are as well. Let's start with Seattle. They lose to San Fran at home to start the year. They beat up Pitt, crushed New Orleans. So it's a good one-on-one. Pats only beat them. They crushed them. They win a close one by 3 at Arizona. We've seen that. Maybe Arizona needs a little bit of love. They lose to Tampa Bay, so there's a one-on-one. Pats beat Tampa. They lost 38-35. They beat our Jags. No one-on-one there. They beat up Houston, crushed Washington and Arizona the second time. They lose to the Rams by 2 on a missed field goal. They beat Tennessee by 6, crushed Minnesota and Atlanta, beat Indy by 2, win an overtime thriller against the Rams, beat up Carolina, then beat San Fran 13-3. So you look at that, and you got San Fran 1, Houston 2, Rams 3, and Carolina 4. So they played 4 playoff teams to 2. So it's not that massive of a difference, in my opinion. They're both 14-3. I think you throw it out the window and you look at how they've been doing in the postseason, and it's wild because a lot of it, we went through the tail of tape with Dempsey and Fat Tony and Archie. A lot of it's flipped the script from the regular season to the postseason. You know, you look at now, not everything has. I'll tell you what hasn't. The Patriots O-line's not good. They give up way too many sacks. They gave up 47 sacks in the regular season. They've given up 15. Now 3 games, but so what? And I don't care about weather. You're getting beat up front. That's what's happening. So you look at that and you're like, that stayed the same. Now you look at their defense. Their defense only had 35 sacks during the regular season. They got 12. And Kayvon Chason has 3, the former Jaguar, leading the team for the New England Patriots. You look at Drake May, who was phenomenal during the regular season, MVP type year. Great with his legs in the postseason, but not good with his arm. That he's got to play a lot better. The passing offense, if New England has a chance here, the passing offense has got to come through. And way better than it's been. I'll take the run-in of Drake May, no doubt about that. I think he extends. I think he can get first downs. You've seen it in the past, put games away. But you look at like Drake May. Look at Sam Darnold. Led the league in turnovers in the regular season. 14 picks, 6 fumbles. He's had 0 in the postseason. And so what do you take? I take what's trending. Who's hot right now? They're both hot. I mean, Seattle crushes San Fran. Crushed them. And then had a really tough outing against the Rams, but found a way to figure it out. And we're the better team that day. The Pats, they beat those 3 teams they beat. Top 10 defenses, every single one of them. Is what it is. You can say, well, they didn't do that much. No, they didn't, but they did enough to win. And obviously that's all that counts in the playoffs. You look at the Pats' run defense, 4.2 during the year, 3.1 during the playoffs. It flips for Seattle, 3.7 yards per carry and 4.5. Now that it's not there's some skewedness to that, right? If that's even a word. But because of how they played, how many games, weather, all that kind of stuff. But it is what it is. You put it out there regardless. The Seahawks offensive line. I'm going to name these guys because they deserve it. They're in the Super Bowl. Charles Cross, left tackle. Greg Zabel, left guard. 2 really good players right there. Wicked good. You want to watch an animal play guard, go watch Greg Zabel play guard, although he will have his hands full this weekend. They all will. Jalen Sundahl is the center. Bradford, the guard. Abraham Lucas, I think it's Anthony Bradford, and Abraham Lucas, the right tackle. Kenneth Walker, the third, averaging great average, 4.6 yards a carry, had 7 TDs during the season in the post. He had 5 TDs in the season, and he's had 4 TDs in the post. He's averaging 4.7. They've only given up 5 sacks on that O-line. That's a good O-line. They're a good O-line. Granted, the defense of the Pats is what's been playing really well for them right now. I wonder if they can get a running game going. I think Travion Henderson could be this breakout type player, kind of like an X factor. I say Rashid Shaheed on the other side. That guy, whether he's returning I think they're going to get him in the offense a little bit, at least throw a little bit to him. Keep in mind, he was, traded for mid-year, kind of like our Jacoby Myers. He's brought that to Seattle in terms of speed, playmaking ability, and all that great stuff. Will Campbell, Jared Wilson, Garrett Bradbury, good center. Mike Onwenu and Morgan Moses is your New England Patriots offensive line. Good at running the ball. Travion Henderson, 5.1 yards a carry during the year with 9 touchdowns. And Henderson at 4.6 yards a carry and 7 touchdowns. Both those guys have done nothing in the run game. Granted, against good defenses. And they're going against another one that only gave up 3.7 yards a carry during the regular season. Can they get something going? They're going to have to. They're going to have to. They're going to get a little bit of the running game going if they're going to stand a chance. The defensive guys are very good. Their D-line, they play different. One's a 4-3, one's a 3-4. So you got to kind of, how you measure that. But you look at DeMarcus Lawrence, Byron Murphy II, Leonard Williams, a total beast. Uchenna Nwosu, who's an outside backer, more time. All those guys got 7 sacks or more. Boye Mafe, who's going to be a free agent, down in sacks this year, but has 2 for him. Derek Hall has 2 sacks as well. These guys are really good. They're really good. Now, they haven't done a great job rushing the passer in 2 games. Only 3 sacks for a team that was pretty darn good. They had 47 sacks during the regular season. So which defense is it, that shows up? For New England, again, regular season, 4.2 yards a carry with 35 sacks. Postseason, 3.1 yards a carry, factor in the weather, and then 12 sacks. So which defense is going to show up? For the Seahawks, 3.7 yards a carry during the regular season, which was number 1 in the league. Set 47 sacks, getting after it during the regular season. Now, during the postseason, their defense only has 3 sacks, and they're giving up 4.5 yards a carry. Now, that can be construed a little bit. Corum had a pretty decent day. The Rams playing him 3 times. Kyron Williams had a great day, 1 game. Neither one of them did anything the second game. And then the final game, Blake Corum did a little bit, but not too much damage whatsoever. The Patriots are going to have to do something in the run game in order to stand a chance against this very good Seattle defense. Again, Seattle, one of the best in the league at stopping opponents from scoring. However, so is New England. People tend to forget that. During the regular season, Seattle was the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL. Number 1. Number 4 was New England, and only by like 1.5 points. It's not that far off. I'm telling you, look, media can get you cuckoo. They can get you thinking. Maybe it's Vegas getting you thinking. You want to put some money on it. I'm not telling you what to do. I never would, because I'm not a great gambler. But I would put money on the Pats and the points in this one. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I know a lot of people are picking Seattle. I am not. I'm not picking Seattle. I hope it's a great game. I love the Super Bowl. My parents used to have a Super Bowl party all the time, and if they didn't have one, some of the other families did. We'd love the Super Bowl and still do. It's special. You get stung every morning because you think about the times you didn't make it, right? And twice for us here in Jacksonville. It does sting. But when you get closer to kickoff, you're like, man, this is just what a thrill it must be. How euphoric it must be. Not just for you, but for everybody. All your friends growing up, your classmates, maybe your teachers, they're all watching, man. They're all like, holy cow, look at so-and-so. Look what he's done. Your neighbors, your cousins, your neighborhood, whatever, they're all watching. And because it's so hard to get there. It's so hard to get there. That's why when I always say, when all of us old timers get together, the Hall of Fame jacket will trump everybody. What's next, though? The Super Bowl rings. Who's wearing the ring? Because everybody wants to wear the ring. Everybody would love to sit there, and I can do it with my wedding ring. You know how many guys love sitting there clapping their fingers on a table with, a couple Super Bowl rings? Absolutely, and deservedly so. It is quite the honor to be able to do that. Trust me, I wish that we had that chance. And I'm sorry we didn't make it, but it is what it is. And these two teams are prime. I can't imagine Friday before the Super Bowl. Let me tell you, Radio Row on Friday is awesome. It's awesome. You'll have everybody come through there. You don't even know who's coming. You know, it's funny. I was reminding my wife, I said to her, I said, remember when I called you? I called her from Radio Row on a Friday. And Kim Kardashian and her mom, they were just getting famous. And I didn't know the story. I just knew they were welcome to the card. I think it just started or something. And I said to my wife, I'm on the phone. I'm like, oh, that's so-and-so and Kim Kardashian, her mom. And she's like, oh, my gosh, what do they look like? I'm like, well, Kim's got a really fat ass, but she's pretty. I mean, it was like gigantic. I was like, holy cow. But nonetheless, you'd see people like that. I remember when Springsteen played, he didn't show up, but a couple of his bandmates came to Radio Row. Just great interviews over time. Joe Namath, Lennox Lewis. I remember interviewing Aaron Rodgers. It was the year that Favre was leaving, and he's taken over. Just young at the time, but just a great time at Radio Row. I hope we do make it back. I know if the Jags go, we will definitely make it back. But it is quite the ordeal. It's great. I'm just reading my notes while we go on here. I mentioned earlier in the week on Helmets and Heels, which I'll be on at 2:00 today, 2 to 4 p.m. with Lauren Brooks and Taylor Dahl, how much money that the New England Patriots spent in contract value in 2025 in the offseason, $364 million. Buying a championship, no doubt. Seahawks at $200 million with $100 going to Darnold, which is a great story. And, it just gets you thinking, like we interviewed Brad Johnson yesterday on Helmets and Heels, the Super Bowl winning quarterback in Tampa. Didn't really hit it till he got to Tampa. Didn't really hit it till Gruden came. You look at Darnold, like he walks into the perfect situation. I mean, you're loaded. You're loaded on defense. You got a good running game. You got weapons on offense. You got a really good offensive line. What do I need? I need a stud QB. I need a stud QB. What's up, Stevie B? Duvo. Yeah, baby. All the way from Marathon. Beautiful, man. All right. Appreciate you tuning in. No doubt about that. But here's some stats that we should look at. So on top of the $364 million in contract value, the Patriots have 15 rookies on their Super Bowl roster. How about that? Nice little mix there. But look, money talks. It does. And money can buy you a championship. It can. But when it doesn't, that's when you got to start unloading because it's not worth it. Although with the cap keep going up, you can handle it a little bit better. But let's be honest, in the world of today, college ball too, you got to pay. You got to pay to play, man. You got to pay to play. There's no doubt about that. Tom Brady and Sam Darnold are the only quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League to go back-to-back 14-win seasons. How about that? Great for Sam Darnold. Sam is due a $15 million roster bonus 5 days after the Super Bowl. How about that? I mean, you want to win the Super Bowl, but you're getting 15 mil coming your way in addition to everything else. Just absolutely fantastic for him. Underdogs are 5-0 versus the spread, 4-1 outright in the past 5 Super Bowls, including 3 straight outright wins. I do have them winning. I just think with the way the defense is playing, I think they're going to give them a run for their money. I really do. I'd be pretty shocked if they got blown out. Granted, this team only gave up 18 points a game in terms of the New England defense during the year, and now they're at 7. They're at 8.7. Now, granted, it's skewed, right, because of the Broncos and Bo Nix and of course the weather. But you look at that and you're sitting there going, well, the defense has showed up pretty much the entire year. Can they get after Sammy Darnold? I called him Sammy. Yes, I did. Can they get after him? Christian Barmore, Milton Williams. I mean, these guys are legit. Kayvon Chason. How about him? What a great year for him. And it's had great years since he left Jacksonville. They put him in the wrong spot. We know that. I knew that. I knew that from the beginning. Trying to watch him play end was kind of hard, to watch. But he's having a fantastic year, and let's see what he can do against this offensive line that doesn't give up many sacks. So listen, I think at the end of the day, I've got the New England Patriots winning 21-18. 21-18. I think it's going to be a tight game. I would take the points. I'm going to do some prop bets. I know we did some over the airwaves on 1010 here with Jaguars today. Look, my long shot is Travion Henderson's the Super Bowl MVP. That's why they call it a long shot. But I envision Sammy Smith. I envision Marcus Allen. I should have mentioned that yesterday, thinking of plays. Remember Marcus Allen one way, the other way, and swing down the middle of the field for that long touchdown. You remember those plays. Who will have them? Will it be JSN? Will Darnold hit him deep? Gonzalez gave up a little bit. I know he had the pick at the end, but he gave up some yards and some big plays in the postseason, especially last week. I love him. He's a great player, but he's going to have to be on his game. Same for Witherspoon on the other side. Stephon Diggs had a great year. And look, I always look at those big play numbers. How many big plays, took place during the regular season? Jackson Smith and Jigba had 27 big plays. That's 20-plus yards down the field. That's a lot. I mean, I track them every week for tail of the tape. No one's anywhere near that. Stephon Diggs had 17 big plays. And Butte, shake your Butte, if you will, he had 10 big plays during the regular season. Their tight ends are very good. 7 touchdowns by Hunter Henry. Barner's a very good tight end, has 6 of his own. So this is going to be a good one-on-one. If the New England defense can step up and really shut down and control the run, I don't know if you're going to shut down Kenneth Walker III, but control the run, they're going to have a shot to win this football game. I think on the other side for Seattle, I think Seattle has got to get after Drake May. Drake May has struggled for a reason because he's been getting harassed. If you harass Drake May, you got to watch out for his feet. He can take off and run on you, but I think you can rattle him. He's a young player in a big game, and maybe you'll be able to rattle him if you can get to him. I think you will get to him some. How much remains to be seen. Will Campbell, the left tackle, will have his hands full. He better show up. They're going to need him big time. And if you got to chip, then chip. You got to bring a tight end, another old tackle over there. I don't care. You do whatever it takes to make sure that Drake May does not get hit too much. I think Rashid Shaheed's going to be the X factor for Seattle. He'll have a big return. He'll have some yardage. He might even have a touchdown. I'm not saying that it'll come in the return game. Could come in I think they're going to throw a pass. You always think about like Super Bowl. Who's going to be that one guy you're not thinking of? Like I look at Travion Henderson, 2.4 yards a carry. They've really turned the ball over to Stevenson. He's more the mutter, but that guy's a quick hitter. And you give him a crease, and he's gonzo, man. He is gonzo. You'll never catch him. But it should be a great matchup. I'm hoping Harold Landry plays for the Pats, former BC Eagle. They need his sack numbers. And other than that, I just hope it's a clean game and a great game. I never want to blow out. It's the 2 best teams, supposed to be the 2 best teams. They earned it. They won their way there. And then let's see a really, really good game. We'll look at those team stats again, brought to my friends at Team Tommy Mac. Check them out at TommyMac.net. You can see them all over social media. Please check out their handles. Just click on them. It'll take you right to their pages. And when you need them, they're always there for you. I sent them a note, sent them all my analysis of who's seeing what and how many numbers and all that other stuff. It's the branding. It's connecting your brand to my brand and this brand, and it's fantastic. And we appreciate everybody at Team Tommy Mac. Check them out at TommyMac.net, and I'll read through them real quick. Carpetman Flooring, Chris Lucero's Bail Bonds, Morgan & Morgan, J-Dog, Junk Removal and Hauling, Azar Sausage, Code Ninjas, Salt Air Inn and Suites, Family Tradition Specialty Foods, Newmark Phoenix Realty Group, Rick O'Connor's Allstate Agency, and Sportsmania Jax Beach and Freedom Finance, our fractional CFO. By the way, Courtney, if you're watching for Freedom Finance, I'm going to take you up. If I can make that May 4th trip, Freedom Finance sponsors a stock car, and I'm hoping I get to test drive it. And they're doing something up at a track up in, I think, Georgia, near Savannah, or I think it was Savannah. And I'm going to try to make a point to do that because I would love to do that, no question about it. All right, let's get into the team stats. I already mentioned the scoring in the postseason and the regular season. Of course, regular season for Seattle, 36 points a game, 16 and a half on defense. Fantastic. I mean, they were just really, really good on 17.2. That's it, 17.2 on defense. They've been doing it in the postseason. The Pats have done a really good job scoring 18 points, giving up about 9. Of course, that's a little skewed. Running game I already mentioned. And by the way, I know you can sit there and say, yeah, the 4.5 yards of carry for Seattle, so what? Well, it's on 50 carries, 49 carries. So that's not a small sample size. That's a good sample size out of 2 games, and they're giving up 4.5 yards of carry in the postseason. Can the Pats take advantage of that? Flip side, on 68 carries, the Pats have shut down the run game of opposing offense with a 3.1 yards per carry average. So it could be something there. Yards per attempt, Pats very good in the regular season, not so good in the postseason, not scoring enough. Of course, the defense is holding them, but again, that's a little skewed. You look at yards per attempt for Seattle. Sam Darnold's on fire, almost 9 yards per attempt at 70%. Their defense giving up, but only at 59% completion percentage. Third down, Pats have been awful at 30% on offense. Very good on defense at 29%. The Hawks, very good on offense at 48% on third down and giving up 35% on third down. Really, really, really good stuff. 12 sacks on defense, I mentioned, giving up 15 on offense for the Pats. 3 sacks on defense, giving up 5 for the Hawks. And the turnover ratio, +3 for the Pats, +4 for the Hawks. So I don't see, now granted, it's just on paper. But if you look at the schedule, which I went through, it's pretty not too far off. 4 playoff teams to 2. The way they handle the others are pretty close. The stats, you rip them off, especially in the postseason. They're pretty close. Even in the regular season, they're pretty close, especially on defense. You know, they've got, you know, it really depends on who steps up. Can Drake May have a day? Can Sam Darnold continue to have a day? Can he continue this run of no turnovers and scoring touchdowns and throwing the ball down the field? They are extremely loaded. They're very good. Cooper Kupp, Jackson Smith and Jigba, the tight ends, Kenneth Walker III, running and receiving. Very, very good. And I went through the other guys, of course, with Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry, Demario Douglas, Austin Hooper, the tight ends right there, the Henry and Hooper. Of course, Boutte, shake your Boutte, and maybe it'll help you out there. But they got plenty of weapons as well. I got to throw Rashid Shaheed in the other one as well. So, look, man, I think it's going to be tight. I've got New England 21-13. I hope it's a great game. I hope you all have a great weekend, a great Friday night, and an awesome weekend. We're going to chill and enjoy it too. Been a great week. Love doing all the shows and bringing you Catching Up with Tommy Mac right here through 1010XL's podcast platform. Congrats to all of our Jaguars. Congrats to you fans, because when they get recognized, so do you. And that's a wonderful thing. There's no doubt about that. When our coach is being recognized for head coach of the year, our quarterback for comeback of the year, for MVP, that's all positive, wonderful things for this team, for this organization, and for this franchise. There's a loose dog out there. I haven't seen that yet at the new headquarters, but we got a doggy on the loose. We'll see where that goes. But congrats to Liam Coen, to, of course, Trevor Lawrence, putting in the work, man, putting in the work. It was great to see, and now you got your work cut out for you again. Let's get through Sunday. Let's enjoy the Super Bowl, and then what? Boom, 2025 is over, and 2026, the clock starts ticking, and we're going to be right there, hopefully next year in the mix, and that's what my prediction will be. It all will come down to this, because we've seen it in the past. Can this team handle the success? Can this team handle the exposure? They have it in the past. We knew what happened in 2022, 2023, got figured out, lost the punch, didn't have it, got injured, all that stuff. We've seen it in 2018. I remember after 2017 thinking, man, I hope these guys can keep it together. Guess what? They couldn't. There are too many individuals on that team that wanted to get paid instead of worrying about the team and where the team could go. The team wins, you get paid. The team goes to the Super Bowl, you all get paid. And even the backup guard gets a card, deal, gets an automobile sponsorship. That's how it works. But anyway, we'll see if they can. I have a feeling they will because of Tony Baselli, because of Liam Coen and James Gladstone, who I now know is called Stoner by Liam Coen. Great nickname. At Gladstones, of course. Why wouldn't you give a nickname? But that's what it's going to come down to. Can we handle all this exposure, all this attention? I think we can, but it'll remain to be seen. I wish you guys a great weekend, a great Super Bowl 60, great Super Bowl Sunday. Thanks so much for watching, listening, participating, really sharing. Please share it all your friends. We really appreciate it. Thanks to 1010XL and thanks to Team Tommy Mac. Always a pleasure representing all of you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time right here from the studios